Well, I'm David Brint, as you was introduced before, and honestly, I'm honored and a bit humbled to be standing here before all of you today. Today, Gordon passed the gavel of leadership of our organization on to me, and for 45 years, he's led the FFB to the beginning of an era of breakthroughs and cures. 45 years. 45 years. I'll tell you, Gordon might not be able to see, but his vision has always been clear. Find ways to cure retinal blindness. My vision is simple. Finish the job. I got involved with the foundation 18 years ago when my wife Betsy and I found out that our son Alan was born blind with LCA. Betsy's cousin was friends with Gordon, and he encouraged me to meet him. So we traveled to Philadelphia and met and had a nice lunch. And Gordon invited me to attend the board meetings as an observer. I'm not sure what led me to travel from Chicago to Owens Mills, Maryland, but I did. The next thing I know, I received a phone call from Gordon and Ed Golub inviting me to join the board. I like what I saw from the first day. This was a team that I wanted to be a part of. I knew they were making a difference, and I wanted to be a part of it. The organization reflects Gordon's very unique personality. I've never heard or seen him act, imply, request that anything be done for him. Not once. He's a uniter, he's a motivator, and a brilliant businessman. Gordon's always been there in the trenches with all of us. His passion, kindness, and commitment is always evident. He's made FFB his life's work. I think we need to take a minute. I know we've done this before and we've done it again, but we need to think about what the Gunn family has done for us and thank them. We made Luli cry. I was recently talking to my friend and FFB trustee, Bruce Grieve, I think it was last week at the Artistry of Wine event in Chicago, that he started and he's been chairing annually for 15 years. Bruce and his family are unaffected. I've known him for 15 years, but I didn't really remember why he was involved, so he told me. He said he was making a presentation on marketing to some executives. I think it was a case study for some of their nonprofit work. And after the meeting, Gordon approached him to ask some advice, and Bruce told him that the RP Foundation was way too narrow a name, and he was serving a much broader population. That was a big mistake. If any of you know Gordon, you know that a good thought always turns into an invitation to help. Bruce talked with Gordon at some length over the following few months, and then as he was talking to me, retelling the story, he got teary-eyed, and he had to wait a minute. He looked at me in the eye and he said that he told Gordon that he couldn't believe that he was doing all this for so many people with no real focus on himself. And Bruce said if Gordon can do this for so many others, then he was going to commit himself to the cause of helping Gordon get his sight back. Bruce stayed involved for 15 years now, and he said he'll continue until Gordon can see his face. As Bruce was speaking, I realized that I felt the same thing. I was thinking about receiving the diagnosis from our ophthalmologist that our son was blind. He handed my wife and me a card to the lighthouse and told us there really wasn't any treatment right now, but there was hope. That was not a message I could accept. Remember, there was no internet available to everyone back then, so we tried to figure out what could be done, and we found out the field of retinal research was in its infancy, and that was 26 years after the RP Foundation had started. But funny things happened over these last 19 years. The field's blossomed. Exploded is probably more accurate. You see, I build things for a living, build buildings for a living, and I like creating and watching things grow. And I know what it takes to get something to germinate. In this case, 26 years of germination took. Then, top of that, you need the vision to understand where the field's going and what steps needed to put the foundation at the forefront of retinal research. That's the brilliance of our friend Gordon Gunn. My brother-in-law told me once, so many organizations are working hard, but we are succeeding. Our efforts are actually helping restore vision. We're getting there. Believe me, we are getting there. So what now for Gordon and Luli? Don't worry, they're not leaving us, only stepping aside in a very planned orchestration of how to make certain that an organization succeeds when they're not at the helm. Be careful when you suggest something to Gordon, though. He'll still ask you to get involved. Now, I'm no... Now, I'm no Gordon Gunn, so guess what? I am going to ask you before you volunteer any good ideas. I need your help. We all need your help. A lot of it. You may ask, how can I help? And I do have a few answers. First and foremost, knowledge is power. We all need to learn about our product, and our product is research. We need to ask questions. We need to read whatever we can get our hands on, and we can talk with anyone we can learn from. You know, it doesn't just happen that research breakthroughs happen. We've been planning our work, well, for as long as I've been involved, and before that. For 26 years, money was spent on basic research. Money was spent on guys like Dick Welliber, who please come and ask for money and get involved in the field and trying to attract people. We have a very unique system. We review with brilliant people to pick the best science, and we've been planting the seeds of research for a very long time. And where we're at today is in a wonderful place. Our staff, our wonderful staff, has established things in the field for us that is moving the field forward. Industry tells us that they need to know where people are who have disease, and we've created My Retina Tracker. People tell us that they need to know the natural histories of studies, and we have gone and done ProgStar. We've created our clinical consortiums to make sure that we can do natural history studies. People tell us that they need money for seed grants, and we do that. And as a matter of fact, 2 days ago, I believe, Bill Schmidt signed an agreement for the first company that we're helping to create to take RDCVS to the clinic. $7.5 million investment. Our work is extremely strategic, and I encourage you to learn about the thought process that goes through it so that you can communicate it to other people. You can't be afraid to tell everyone who will listen about our work, about our worldwide network of researchers, and how we've been instrumental in moving the field forward, and how, if we are successful, no parent will ever have to hear the words, "Your child is blind," or "Your child is going blind." We need to ask for funds. I'm sorry, I know, it's a never-ending struggle for funds, but believe me, it will end. It'll end when we solve these retinal problems. And lastly, we need to commit ourselves to make certain that this job gets completed. That means our staff, which has so much talent, knowledge, and commitment, will need to do more. It means our board, many of whom have also dedicated much of their lives to this cause, and are among the most talented people I've ever worked with. We need to redouble our efforts. It means the trustees need to trust that their efforts matter, and they need to keep at it. It means we need to find and attract a new generation of people to help us. It's time we took the mantle of leadership and give back to the world And to our friend and leader and visionary, Gordon Gund, a very sacred gift, a chance for everyone to see. It's time to get the job done. I'm up for the challenge. How about you?